Hello and welcome to NETSCAN on YouTube. I want to make a series of short videos talking about the state of the medical world, in particular conventional medicine especially. I'm not just talking about the UK, but that's the thing I know most about, but it's happening all over the world. And there are lots of questions that need answers. We often hear of conventional medicine running down alternative medicine, but it's about time we looked at it from the other side, because quite frankly they're not. A lot of them are not doing the job they should be doing. They're not doing it properly. I want to just start off by letting you have a look at my book. I'm going to read the foreword of the book, which is written for me by Dr. Desmond Spence. He's practicing GP. He's tutor of medicine at Glasgow University, and he's founder of the No Free Lunch organisation. No Free Lunch. Yeah? Think about that one. I'm going to read this a couple of pages here, very important if you tune in and listen carefully. Only a few years ago, like most doctors, I was up to my neck in hospitality and freebies. One night, however, I returned from speaking at a meeting, clutching a large cheque from a pharmaceutical company and feeling rather self-important. My Glaswegian-born wife, who does not suffer fools gladly, was disgusted and told me that she preferred the snivelling medical student she met 15 years before in a pub, pulling pints for £1.80 an hour, to the corporate pawn I had become. She pointed out that they were paying for my influence, not my wit or charisma. On reflection, I couldn't deny it, and why hadn't I seen it before? As a student, I took countless freebies and thought the industry was fantastic. As a junior doctor, I went with my colleagues to some of the most exclusive restaurants in Glasgow and got drunk at the drug company's expense. In general practice, they provided my lunch on a daily basis. Interesting, huh? Company representatives sponsored my practice meetings and even paid for and attended our Christmas parties. I also conducted research for which I was paid a great deal of money. All these things influenced which drugs I prescribed to my patients. I felt beholden to the drug representatives and would always prescribe their more expensive medication. In my defence, I can merely say that I was only doing what everybody else did. One of the most frightening strangleholds the pharmaceutical companies have on the medical profession is the invaluable resources it provides for research. This can involve tens of millions of pounds being paid to hospitals that become dependent on this money. The drug companies own the research and control the interpretation of results. A spin is put on positive findings while negative news is suppressed. This research is published in leading medical journals, which in turn depend on drug companies to survive. Both the British Medical Journal and the Lancet receive huge sums from the drug industry in advertising revenue. When research, inverted commas, is published, top NHS doctors and influential journalists are often flown to five-star hotels for international drug launches. These all expenses paid trips are passed off as educational, inverted commas again. Drug companies allocate £10,000 a year for marketing their products to each GP in the UK. Doctors rely heavily on information supplied by the pharmaceutical industry, but proper research suggests that just 6% of this information is supported by hard evidence. All this leads to another important issue. We, the public, are taking record levels of drugs, but our health is not improving. I see some patients who take more than 10 medications a day, and I feel that these multiple drugs may do a lot more harm than good. The pharmaceutical industry has invested a fortune in making us sick and neurotic. This is coming from a GP. Put bluntly, the profit motive of the pharmaceutical industry is corrupting doctors and destroying society's sense of well-being. The medical profession continues to be in denial over the influence of the pharmaceutical industry. Many doctors are addicted to its hospitality and freebie nature and culture, so beware, your prescription may not have been issued for all the right reasons. Frightening, isn't it? Frightening. I've got some questions I want to put, and statements and facts and stuff that are going to be quite interesting over this rest of this video and a few others that are linked to it. Okay, here we go. If a prescribed medication does not cure the problem, then why can we not have our money back? This would be the case with any other item we purchased. Certainly in the UK, and I imagine through most of the Western world, if you buy a product and it's no good, it doesn't work, then you're entitled to have your money back. So why doesn't that apply to medication as well? Why do doctors, our employees, treat us, the public, as inferior to them? We employ them. Why are we being looked down upon, treated as idiots by these so-called specialists when we go to see them in hospitals and clinics and all sorts of things? Not that I do, they come to me, but I don't treat them as inferior when they come to see me with their headaches and their skin problems and depression and all sorts of things. I've cured about 10,000 people without drugs following a single health scan, and they'd all been to see doctors first, and that's a fact. NHS doctors are public employees, and as such they should be ethically, morally and legally bound to inform us, their employer, that they are aware of a drug-free treatment such as that, the health scan. Thousands of doctors are aware of the work of health scan, because I've cured their patients, and we employ them, so why don't they tell everybody else, their other employers? Interesting. Why would a drug company want to cure you? They don't make money from healthy people. Whether they wish to or not, doctors are just salespeople for drug companies. I'm not saying that all doctors are doing it for the wrong reasons. A lot of doctors are out there doing a damn good job, and we're very lucky to have them. In fact, the greater majority of them probably. But the fact is they can't do anything other than prescribe medication because they're not allowed to. I've had doctors threatened with a sack that have tried to work with me and send patients to me over the years, and I've cured hundreds of them. But when their employers found out, the so-called management, who are they're our employees, of course, but when management of the hospitals have found out, they threatened to sack them. It's frightening, really. Is it right that drug companies should be allowed to bribe doctors into prescribing certain brands of medication? Remember I mentioned £10,000 a year is spent by drug companies on each and every GP in the UK. £10,000 to get them to prescribe the medication to the patients. Is it right that drug companies should be allowed to bribe NHS bulk buyers, public employees, into stocking certain brands of medicine? I've got no evidence that they are doing that. But if they're bribing doctors, then probably bribing these guys too. All inducements from drug companies to doctors and or bulk buyers should be a criminal offence. That's my opinion. Any acceptance of such bribes by a doctor should be a criminal offence. If I tried to bribe the local police inspector, I'd be arrested. Yeah? Well, why shouldn't it be the same with a doctor? Lord Stevens, the former head of the Metropolitan Police, undertook an inquiry in December 2006 to look at illegal bribes in the world of football. Why do no such inquiries take place in the world of medicine? Interesting, no? How many current health ministers or drug companies, current ex-health ministers or other such public servants have taken up posts with drug companies when they've left the job in Parliament or whatever, and gone on to work with these people? Can such arrangements be in the best interest of the public when they are in influential positions? Do any of the management of the Medicines Control Agency, the General Medical Council or the British Medical Association have any financial interest in any way with drug companies? If so, why are they not legally bound to divulge it? MPs have to divulge external interests, so why not doctors also? Okay, running a little bit short on time on this particular video. I'm going to continue this on the next 2 or 3, however many it takes to get through this lot. Okay, tune in, make sure you do, it's interesting stuff. All the very best now, bye bye.